And starting the video. Here we go.
All right, call the meeting to order. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First thing we need to talk about is, there was a problem with, we had to buy some more fuels. Well, you're gonna have to buy some.
Okay, so one thing you have in front of you is an email from Joel Johnson from Stillwater.
Right.
The other thing you have is the quote for 5 sections of 10-foot pier, aluminum piers for crossroads all over. Oh, sorry, there's this student. So the email from Joel, I know I should have forwarded this, we'll just go over it though. Here's what he's saying. He needs the following items to proceed. He needs the aluminum pier sections. It says I need 5 additional aluminum pier sections. Since the total will exceed 196 sections, the cost will be $25 per section, resulting in an additional charge of $125. And he needs 2 feet crossbars, 5 of them, which he can create from the 3-foot crossbars at a cost of $15 per bar. This totals $75. And I would point out that that is a major big savings, him doing this himself using
Right.
our old piers. So he's saving us quite a bit. So the additional cost besides the equipment will be $200 for Joel. And he said, unfortunately, the absence of these components is causing delays in the project timeline. You know, he's just worried about getting it done in time. I would not be charging him the late fee because he's delayed for no fault of his own.
Right.
So when was the timeline? It's.
That's just that time.
He's got time. So
Just to make sure it's done right. Yeah.
And the issue with this is that the length of the wooden piers were a lot longer
Right.
than the aluminum sections. That's why so they counted the sections, but they didn't count the length.
So there,
And that's
that's
where the issue.
right, the wood was 14
14 foot.
feet and the new are 10, the aluminum are 10, so there's an error. And then if you remember Bev being here, it was last fall, and I remember when we were talking about it, Bev said, you better measure because last spring the water was really high,
Right.
so they didn't put out all of the sections.
Yes, but I don't know if that's actually, I thought that too, but I don't know if that's actually accurate. I think what happens is, and what happened last year is even on the north piers, they just started the T's
Mhm.
and the L closer to shore. So they put out as many sections, but they just moved where they started the T's and the L
Yeah.
to.
So
So,
it
because it was too deep last year.
Right.
It's close this year.
No, it's pretty deep now.
Pretty deep this year too.
So all this to say, it just is what it is, and an error happened, and
Well, I think this is reasonable.
I think very reasonable.
So, is there a motion to approve that?
So I would make a motion that we approve the additional sections up here, which is 5 for a total of $4,846.61. And the total for the work and some of the other equipment. Was it a total of $200?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
So that'd be my motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and you wanted to talk about the budget?
yeah, but while we're here, if we look, so I think if you go to, is it page 9 where, well, you can look all through this. I mean, obviously, you can see if we, if I don't skip too far ahead, actually, piers, we've already brought in $23,650 just from piers, and only a few people, I mean, not a lot of people have paid. Campground rental, everyone's paid almost. I think one person has a check coming still. There are a few. I didn't get them all rented out. I didn't get all the seasonals rented out that we usually get rented out for a couple of reasons. I don't want to advertise too hard until the water gets on. There's so much construction and everything, I kind of slowed down on that.
Mhm.
And really, in some ways, I think it's okay to leave some of them open for weekend. Because from what I heard,
Last year, we actually made a little more money on the
Mhm.
weekends instead of having it for the seasonal, cause
and I heard
they
there
were
were,
all pretty much.
if we can
Well-
keep people in there,
Right.
we would make more money. We don't have our website yet. Ismail's doing finals. He's a little in over his head right now, just like me, but we're getting there and that will be helpful. But all this to say is we have a lot of revenue coming in. We're looking good there. So repair and maintenance on page 5, actually, we're going to talk about that. So when I went in front of the council, March 17th, I thought I was asking for a transfer from one part of our budget to another, but maybe it is an additional appropriation, all this to say, money has not been moved yet. So we're not, right
Well,
now,
And they didn't say that it needed to be, so.
it's very confusing
Yeah.
what's going on. I reached out to Justin Schramm, but I didn't get a resolution. Cause Todd asked me to reach out to him
Yeah.
and I put you guys on there because you told me to call him or get a hold of him. Or Todd wanted me to do that, so he never, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
All this.
So it sounds like to me, and then correct me if I'm wrong here, though, but I think. They just have to have the public hearing to say the amount, because they've already approved,
It's already approved.
they already approved it, so
And
they
it
don't have,
has to go in the paper.
yeah, so they don't have to vote on it again, they just have to talk
And the
about it
paper
at
for-
a public hearing,
Right,
Okay,
right? And we've done that the last meeting too.
and they did, yeah.
Right.
I kind of,
Other things.
I kind of think the issue came, our auditor was on vacation and then we had one of the deputies do her meeting. I don't know if she read the minutes or if it was conveyed correctly to her.
and then I
It
waited,
should have gone in the paper after that meeting.
Right.
yeah,
And
And
if
then
it-
I remember that from this last one that they had.
yeah, so. We are going to have money there, but I kind of paused everything. I've paused all projects from going forward until this gets straightened out. There's just a few really things.
When you say pause, we're not pausing, the roof getting.
No, nothing like that. Pause, one thing that needs to be done is we need to service the dump station and that comfort station, the more down on the north end, those bathrooms, those need to be roto-rooted. I'm sure they've never been roto-rooted since 1980, which is why I had to scoop with a shovel. So I won't say that for all of you too, but you guys already know. So I think that needs to be done because I'm sure roots and everything is causing that problem, so that I will wait until May. I paused Mike's Electric from coming till we have more of an idea of when we're gonna have this
Yeah,
money
we'll take a
available. Yeah, so, well, as Mike did for the electric, his idea was that if he could replace the wires that are above ground and the plugins, that it would hopefully stop things from overheating, because remember, since I've been here, we've had 2 fires in our electric, so Mike's hope was,
Is this for the lift station?
no, I'm talking
This
about the
is
RV
bad.
spots, RV
Oh,
spots.
at the actual campsite.
The crew said that when they went to go they were looking at something with the electric and it was melted in the box, and the electric is gonna have to get addressed at some point. I know not this year though, there's
we
no
don't have
way.
money.
It's gonna have to be sooner rather than later.
Yes, but if Mike thinks if we do this, could stretch us 1 or 2 more years. But I haven't even gotten a quote from him, or I just kind of I've just been waiting.
So
to-
where are we at then in repair and maintenance?
Well, so right now, we're under almost $7,000, but we're getting 76 there.
Mhm.
So that will be okay, eventually, and then we're okay on gas, I
And
mean,
we're moving, what was it, 60 some, what were you moving for the roofs? And,
76.
right?
So we'll be fine when that happens,
Right.
and then, if you look at stone, gravel and aggregates, I expect all of that to get spent, because we're gonna need some new sand for the beach, new mason sand like I got for Crater's Beach. And, where the playground got tore out, we need to put some topsoil there, and probably a couple of the weekend spots might need some gravel. And then when I talked to Sam yesterday, he had an interesting idea. So when we do all get out there, I'll show you Sam's idea. You know, on the back of the beach house where they put all those big stones to kind of keep it all, hold it together. Sam had the idea of have the teenagers put those back in place and then take small gravel, put that over it and maybe some sand, and it might kind of cement it in. I don't know, it's possible, but you guys can all, we need to put our heads together on how to do this the most cost effective way. You'll have to just see it, but we won't have much left over there. I won't ever use anything in mileage, so we'll have $500 there. The service contract, I'm worried about that because the Wix is gonna come from there. I don't know what else. I guess just Justin can come from there. And Justin Schramm, sorry. So that should be okay. Utilities are, though, that's what it is. Internet is what it is. But then when you get to, I think we should take the new pier sections out of equipment. So if you look at that on page 9, so if we take out,
That makes sense, though.
yeah, we take out the 4,846.61 plus the 200 for Joel, that we'll still only have $7,977.51 in there. And it's too bad because previously our budget was much higher for equipment. I know you know this.
They cut it.
Yeah, in 2024, for equipment, we had, or for 2023, I'm sorry, they used to have $40,000 to work with there. That's quite a bit different.
Right.
And it does tie our hands, because I don't think they thought about, us going through the renovation, so we've incurred costs from going through the renovation that we didn't know about.
Right.
Like taking the equipment out of the beach house and taking down the playground on the campsite, because that got taken out. And so there's no money set aside for concessions if we're gonna do that, which is supposed to be the plan. There's really, I'm worried about part-time hour work. Right now, we have 37,000 in there. So I was like, I spoke with Kathy Norm and I asked her to help me come up with a financial plan. Like, something solid for our bills and for if we're gonna do concession. She thought maybe there's places we could reach out for some, donations, and I think that will help. Because so if we only have $8,000 left in our equipment, well, where do I buy like the refrigerator out of? Or maybe we can get a free refrigerator. I don't know. All this to say is that's a little scary, that number to be sitting at, and it's not even May. So basically Kathy said, since we've tapped into our old revenue, we will just need to build it up again. And then if we really get in dire straits by August, it will be built up again, and we might be able to.
Well, and maybe if we have more of our ducks in a row this budget hearing time to kind of say,
think it's-
hey, we need the extra money,
think
we're
it's-
gonna go for it.
100%.
In detail, that'll be better received.
Yeah, I will
Yeah, I
have,
think
before that
so.
time, I'll have a plan.
Right.
And I don't take the health insurance, so that is, yeah, that's 11,000, and I can move that's within where I can move it to part-time work. So that'll buy us 11,000 there.
Right, and we don't have to,
10.
and we can do that just by our board approval.
Yes.
We don't have to.
Yeah.
we don't have to go to the-
Actually, that Michael Lee can even do because it's in the same,
Right, but the park board should approve that.
well, yeah, we won't
don't
have to go to council.
We don't have to go back to them for it, right?
Yeah, so I think we'll be okay there, but I had my math teacher friend run the numbers on the part-time work, and we'll be cutting it close. So, because we have more bathrooms to clean now, we have more, more, if we have someone at the concession. And then something I'm gonna bring up for you guys for May to think about is, what do we want? Do we want to have, can we afford to open the concession? I think we can. You know, do we want to, with the part-time work? Last year, they didn't have the beach, I mean, they didn't have anyone taking money on Monday and Tuesday because they said it wasn't cost effective. But I feel like if you're gonna charge to get in the beach, you should charge to get in the
It
beach.
should be every day because people are gonna learn,
Yeah.
hey, they don't charge on Mondays, let's go.
Which is the Wayne County residents get in free.
Wednesday, everybody gets in free Wednesday.
Even non,
Everybody, yeah, that's the free day. So if we're gonna have a free day, have a free day, but I think so that wasn't in last year. You know, there's a lot of things that are different this year than last year. That we're just gonna have to muddle through, I think, this year. With the budget, and I've been nervous, so I'm glad I got to talk to you guys about all this. I feel better. I just feel better.
Well, I don't know, people go back all the time in front of council and ask for additional.
That's true.
information, So,
We didn't ask them for any
Yeah.
tax money.
yeah,
we haven't for the last 2 years,
so
So-
it comes down to,
so it won't go last.
they have to understand it.
Yeah, and I think one of our other arguments during the budget time, I know they don't give us any stipend at all, they stopped it, what, 2 years ago? But I think now that they're investing this kind of money into the campground and beach house and all of that, that they ought to give us a little something to make sure that we put towards maintenance, so that that
Yeah,
investment gets protected.
yeah, maintenance got.
And I think that would be a good argument to them. I mean, they can always say no, but I
Right.
think we ought to at least put it forward.
Yeah, I agree. I know repair and maintenance got cut last.
All of them, repair and maintenance and,
The only thing that went up was part-time work, which good thing.
right,
I mean,
yeah, repair and maintenance and equipment both got cut. From what we asked for.
oh, I see, repair and maintenance is this, you asked for more, but they just kept it at the same rate and then they cut equipment.
Yes.
Well, we were under in repair and maintenance. I mean, that was our struggle area too. Last year. So. Just keep an eye on it and all this.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, 'cause I
know,
know they're all weirded out about this Senate Bill 1. They keep on talking about that they may not have access to as much money.
Yeah,
But I'm not sure if that's a real argument or if that's really just a
Well, I mean,
false worry, but I don't know.
Everything I've
I don't
been
know.
seeing. Property tax revenues coming down,
right,
so they'll have to raise income tax. So
Yeah.
it should be a wash in the end.
yeah,
They
well,
don't want to raise income taxes.
yeah, I haven't seen any bills to raise income tax.
It would be a local council that would raise it,
yeah, that's the.
because if
that's
we get
the
less
trick.
money from the property
County-
taxes,
You mean county tax?
county would have to raise our county
Yep.
income tax.
To make up for it. But, you know, I don't know.
Makes sense.
No, it doesn't. And I don't know how that affects us. I mean, we don't have a large income base here. But it just, we'll have to just.
Right, if they did raise it, it would just mean everybody who's paying it's gonna pay more, that's all.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
To raise it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna take it out of equipment then. For the new
for a
piers.
new Pierce, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now we all are on the same page. Now we know where we're at.
All right, so I'm making motion, we adjourn.
For a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
All right.
Right.
We're adjourned.